And welcome back. Now, before we get deep into looking at the different incarnations of Vishnu, I thought it would be good to take a quick little detour, maybe, and talk a bit about the ways in which time is conceptualized as a cyclical entity in classical Hinduism. I'm talking about the idea of the four cosmic yugas, the cosmic ages. This is an idea in Hinduism that while time is linear and on a historical level, it feels linear for us, it's ultimately cyclical on a cosmic level. Time repeats itself. Time is born, time dies. Right? The cosmos has an origin. It grows and expands, it decays and it dissolves into nothingness, and then it's reborn all over again, and again, and again. Just like we're all subject to death and samsara, so is time. Right? One of these cosmic cycles in this Hindu thought is divided into four distinct ages, which are called the yugas in Sanskrit. It's a massive cycle. It lasts for more than for 24,000 divine years, in which one of our years is basically like one day. So basically, one of these cycles would be 8.64 million years. The yugas are differentiated in terms of what dharma looks like in each of the yugas. Remember, dharma is that idea of moral law or rules that everyone follows. The basic idea is that dharma gets weaker and weaker as the yugas progress. And in the Puranas, this is kind of poetically expressed through the image of a bull that gets successively fewer and fewer legs. Let's see how this all works. The first age is called either the Kruta or Satya age, the age of truth. It's said to last 1.728 million years, and during this time, the Dharma bull has all four of his legs. Human beings are fully righteous and good. Everyone gets whatever they want in the world because they have access to these things called wish-giving trees, kalpatarus. Then the demons begin to fight with the gods. And it's here that they have this churning of the ocean that we'll be looking at and acquire the nectar of immortality. We'll be looking at this myth in the next segment. The second age then is called the Treta Yuga. During this time, the Dharma bull only has three legs now, and it's supposed to last for 1.296 million years. Demons start gaining more and more power and terrorizing the earth. Vishnu has to come down over and over again to defeat them. The third age gets called the Dwapara age. During this time, our Dharma bull has only two legs left. It's thought to last for 864,000 years. Life gets worse and worse. And then at the end of that age, humans start acting like demons. And they start breaking moral laws themselves, the ethical rules of engagement. Right? The Mahabharata is set at the very end of this age when everything falls apart. Finally, in our Kali age, our poor Dharma bull has only one wobbly leg left. No one adheres to the old moral standards. Violence, crime, immorality are rampant in the world. You're more likely to encounter a liar, an immoral person, than a moral one. This age is supposed to last for 432,000 years. At the very end, Shiva will come down and dissolve the whole dang thing. Right? He'll dissolve the cosmos. Then Brahma will come and create the cosmos all over again, and the whole thing will basically reboot. Control Alt Delete in another lingo. That's the four yugas, and this vision of cosmic time. In this vision of cosmic time, Vishnu's job is to make sure that the proper balance of dharma is maintained in each of the yugas. He does it through a process known as Avatara. Literally, this means to descend. The idea is he comes as a physical incarnation from heaven into our world to correct problems about dharma, about morality, law, and order. The idea is that if there's too much chaos, too much adharma, he'll come and restore dharma as it's supposed to be, either by eliminating the demonic forces or by rescuing the good people from those demonic forces. The way this all works out, though, is through a kind of theological idea of hidden divinity. It's like when an actor takes on a role in a play or a movie. So in a really good movie, you're going to forget that the actor is playing a role and just focus on the character that's being played, right? In both epics, Vishnu takes on an incarnation. He's Rama in the Ramayana, he's Krishna in the Mahabharata, but sometimes Western scholars have kind of theorized that these were originally just human heroes who became divinized over time under the influence of kind of the powerful bhakti religious cult to Vishnu. That could be the case, I suppose. Maybe a more interesting way to see it is like what we'd seen with the linga, remember. The idea of an incarnation also is a two-sided concept. Non-believers see Rama and Krishna as just ordinary men. True believers see that second meaning as them as being manifestations of God. So let's go maybe now through some of the mythic avataras that Vishnu has said to have taken on before we end up the unit. Uh, Nowadays, people say that there's a list of 10 classical avataras, which also follows a kind of interesting evolutionary progression that reminds us all of Darwin. But I should note that it wasn't really ever a canonical list until maybe around the 11th century, and different texts have fewer or greater numbers of incarnations in the early period. All around the country, in fact, you can see local or regional figures who are thought to be avataras of Vishnu in addition to those 10. There's also a controversy whether or not the Buddha was considered an avatara of Vishnu. This seems to again be an idea that was crystallized sometime after 700 CE or so. Anyway, most of the standard avataras are set in the remote past. One is thought to be this historical one, the Buddha, and one is actually supposed to be not yet come. It's a future avatara. So let's take a quick look at the myths about each of them. And then in our next segments, we'll drill deep into two particular myths, the turtle and the half man, half lion. Now, the first avatara of Vishnu is a fish, Matsya in Sanskrit. He's involved in the Hindu version of the ancient flood myth, which is common to many cultures. As the story goes, Vishnu comes as a tiny little fish to visit Manu, who's one of the primordial kings of men. Manu raises the fish. He takes care of the fish, puts him in a little jar, but he keeps getting bigger and bigger, this fish. So Manu dutifully gets bigger and bigger containers until eventually the fish fills up the ocean. The ocean is the only container to hold him. Manu then recognizes that this is Vishnu and offers him praise. And Vishnu tells him there's going to be a huge flood that'll overwhelm the earth. He instructs Manu to put all the creatures of the earth onto a huge boat and tie it to this fish. As this fish, Matsya, Vishnu now leads the boat to safety and saves all the creatures from disaster. Vishnu's second incarnation is amphibious. He's the turtle, Kurma, which he turns into when the gods and demons need to churn the ocean to get the nectar of immortality. It's a fascinating myth. We'll be looking at it in detail in the second segment, so I don't want to give any spoilers to you. The next incarnation of Vishnu is on land. The earth begins to sink into the ocean at some point, and again during a kind of massive flood. So Vishnu has to come as a boar, and he dives down and digs the earth out. He rescues her, which is she's personified in this case as a goddess, Prithvi, and he uses his tusks to pry Prithvi out of the ocean. The next incarnation is half human. This is Narasimha, the man lion. We'll also go through this amazing myth. Basically, the short story is that Vishnu comes as a kind of were-lion, half man, half lion, to destroy a villainous demon king, tear him to shreds. Vishnu's anti-demon crusades continue in this next incarnation as the dwarf named Vamana. There's a demon king on the loose named Bali who seized control of both the earth and the heavens. There's no way to defeat this king, and so Vishnu has to act. He realizes that Bali is a very generous king, actually. He's a good guy. So he comes in disguise as a short, stocky Brahmin named Vamana to visit the king Bali. Bali reverently shows the Brahmin hospitality, as he does with all Brahmins, and he offers him whatever he wants as a gift. The Brahmin asks for however much territory that he can cover with his 3 steps. Bali agrees. Like, you're a dwarf, how many steps are you going to cover? Vamana then turns into a massive cosmic size. With 1 step, he covers the earth. With the second step, he covers the heavens. And then, realizing who this is Vishnu, Bali reverently offers his own head as a place for the god to put his 3rd step. He does so, and then Bali is sent down into the hells. things keep getting more interesting in incarnation number 6. This time he's a Brahman named Parshurama. He's Rama with the axe, with the Parshu. There are 2 stories about Parshurama. First, he dutifully chops off his own mother's head with his axe when his father tells him to do so. He passes this test. His father restores his mother back to life. In the second story, when he's all grown up, his father is murdered by a group of Kshatriya warriors named the Haihayas. In an act of revenge, Parshurama then goes on maybe the bloodiest rampage ever recorded in mythological literature, whereby he swears to kill off the entire race of Kshatriyas 21 times over until all the Kshatriyas in the world are wiped off the face of the earth. Our next 2 Avataras are the major figures in the 2 great Sanskrit epics. The Ramayana tells the story of Lord Rama, who's the 7th incarnation of Vishnu, who comes as the Kshatriya prince of Ayodhya now. And he's going to go on a quest with his loyal younger brother Lakshmana, and it's also a massive army of trusty monkeys to defeat the demon lord Ravana, who's happened to have kidnapped his beloved wife Sita. Right? Avatara number 8, again, I won't say too much about, lots of spoiler alerts, because we're going to be getting to know him pretty well in the Mahabharata. I'm talking about Krishna, who's a Kshatriya prince, who spends his youth as a cowherd hanging out with the cowgirls, playing his flute in the fields of Vrindavan. But then in the epic, he's going to be the trusted advisor of the 5 Pandava heroes, the heroes of our great epic Mahabharata. He is going to help them to defeat their evil cousins, the Kauravas. Now, after about 700 CE, it became also a thing to sort of say that the historical Buddha we talked about was the 9th avatara or incarnation of Vishnu. The way the explanation goes is that Vishnu appeared in this non-Arya form, non-Vedic form, and deluded the enemies of the gods into believing in a false doctrine. So it's kind of a fake news Avatara. Then there's one final incarnation who's yet to appear. He's going to come at the end of the Kali age. This is the fellow named Kalki, who's a horseman who's going to appear at the very end, riding on a white horse and help to cleanse the earth of the impurities and immoralities that pervade it and save the ones who remain pure and devoted. So there you have it, the 10 classical avataras or incarnations of Lord Vishnu, and how in each there's kind of a concern with setting right the balance of dharma, rescuing the good people from the various kinds of disasters that loom in the world. We'll stop here and take a little break. In our next segment, in our next 2 segments, we'll dig deeper into 2 fascinating myths among those incarnations that I was interested in taking a look at. The stories of Kurma, the turtle, and Narasimha, the man lion. So stick around, and I'll see you in a bit.